Hi guys, my name is Kelsey Kentner. I hope you're all having a great week 3 of your fall semester. For this week's assignment, I'm basically just gonna again read off the prompts that our professor gave us for this class or this assignment. So the first one was, what terms were the most important concepts of this week's lesson? This week I felt the most important terms were social vulnerability and inequalities. Like my own definition of social vulnerability, I would say it's just like a group of people or communities or basically just a category of people who aren't extremely or who are less privileged and a little more exposed during natural disasters and emergencies. Like for instance, the elderly. We read an article this week about how age can definitely impact you during a disaster. Like the elderly are typically not as able or mobile. They also have poor health physically and mentally. That can also be like an obstruction to your safety during a disaster. All of these aspects basically just cause them to not react or respond properly or as efficiently during a disaster. The other term that I chose for this week was inequality. Basically, that coincides with social vulnerabilities a lot. It's just basically the lack of quality or whatever. Like the inequalities in our society are pretty prevalent during disasters. They typically affect people who are poor or certain genders, such as female, usually, and people of other races. Yeah, these groups of people definitely suffer more than somebody who is wealthy or typically someone who's male or someone who can speak English or the native language of wherever the disaster is happening. And yeah, this week my muddiest point was probably why women were at such a greater risk. I guess I understand that in some other countries or in the poorer areas that women would typically struggle a little more, but it was just like a surprising, I don't know, I would normally just think like, oh, like age would typically impact it more, or like wealth and status like that, but I guess gender does play a role in it. It just was surprising to me because, you know, it said one of the reasons was child care responsibilities. Well, typically wouldn't it be just the parents overall who have child care responsibilities, but that's okay, whatever. It's just interesting to read that. And lastly, my question for this week is, what could be a helpful way for communities to become more functional prior, during, or after a disaster when considering the elderly? And yeah, so I hope you all have a great rest of the week, and thanks for watching.